Welcome! Today, let's dive into an interesting topic: how Singapore's aging population might affect property prices. This topic is rarely discussed, so I'm excited to explore it with you. The idea for this video came from a community member who was concerned about the aging population and its potential impact on housing. This question aligns with the latest report from the Department of Statistics on Singapore's demographics. So, let's explore what this could mean for our property market. In recent statistics, the proportion of Singaporeans aged 20 to 64 has dropped from 64.8% in 2014 to 60.4% in 2024. And by 2030, it's expected that 65.8% of the population will be aged between 20 to 64 years. This shrinking of the younger working-age population means fewer people contributing to the economy and supporting those who are older. Now, let's talk about those aged 65 and above. Their numbers grew from 12.4% in 2014 to nearly 20% in 2024. By 2030, around 1 in 4 Singaporeans will be 65 or older. This means we're already seeing more seniors around us, and it's only going to increase as our society ages. With more elderly citizens, society will likely need changes, like elderly-friendly facilities, accessible public spaces, and maybe even more senior care centers in HDB areas. This concern about aging isn't new. Our former Prime Minister mentioned this back in 2023. He pointed out that with an aging population, the government would need to take several steps to keep everything running smoothly. Here are the 3 main areas he highlighted. First, the retirement age might need to go up, giving people more years to work and contribute. Second, adjustments in retirement plans, like CPF Life and Silver Support, could help ensure that seniors have enough for their later years. Lastly, healthcare improvements will be essential. This might mean more clinics, elder care centers, and better healthcare services to meet the growing demand. Of course, these efforts require funding, which means tax increases could be on the horizon. The government has resources to help, but everyone will need to pitch in. It's also good to know that there are resources on the Agency for Integrated Care website for those needing help. Now, let's move on to the main topic: property prices. How will an aging population affect housing demand and prices? In other countries like South Korea, aging populations have led to lower property prices. Studies show that home values could drop by 3% to 12% by 2030 in some areas with high aging rates. In Singapore, there's a study from the National University of Singapore suggesting that by 2040, home prices could fall up to 30% because of aging. However, there are factors like investment and immigration that might support property values, reducing the impact. One important term to understand here is the old age dependency ratio. This ratio tells us how many working-age people, 2064, there are for each senior aged 65 and above. In 2023, this ratio was around 3.7, which dropped to 3.5 in 2024. By 2030, it could fall even lower. Fewer young people means more resources like time and money will be needed to support the elderly population. The Straits Times recently published an article about the pressure on only children in Singapore. As family sizes shrink, more young adults find themselves solely responsible for caring for their parents. This caregiving burden could grow in the years ahead as more elderly parents require care. To get a clearer picture of how an aging population affects the housing market, let's look at HDB resale prices. The HDB resale index has been rising, especially since 2019. This trend is partly driven by seniors who are looking to downsize, also known as right-sizing. There are 2 types of buyers in this group: seniors who want to downsize within HDB properties and those moving from private properties. Many seniors choose to buy 2-room flexi flats with shorter leases, making these flats popular for those looking to free up cash. Typically, seniors living in larger HDB flats, like 3- or 4-room units, might downsize to 2-room flats. This allows them to sell their larger flats and have extra cash for retirement or travel. It's common to see seniors booking travel packages at travel fairs using the money they gained from downsizing. But who will buy these resale HDB flats? HDB flats have always been in demand, serving as essential housing options for singles, PRs, families, and even private property owners. When it comes to private property, seniors often sell their large homes, like landed properties, to move into condos or sometimes even HDB flats. Each family has its reasons, whether it's to save money or simplify life. Some parents might even buy condos for their children, while others sell off larger homes and keep cash for themselves. As more seniors move from private property to HDB, it raises questions about the demand for private housing. Recent data has shown a slight decline in private property prices. Is this the beginning of a long-term trend due to an aging population? In Singapore, there are groups of buyers who are prepared to purchase these private properties. Middle-class families who have profited from HDB BTO flat sales, high-income earners, and even new PRs are often in the market for upgrades. The main question is, where and what type of property will they buy? Certain areas and housing types might face more demand than others, creating supply and demand imbalances in the market. So, how will an aging population impact property prices? There's no simple answer, but it's clear that as Singapore's population ages, there will be changes. Property values are closely linked to supply and demand. With fewer young people and more elderly, demand for certain property types might decrease, while other types, like two-room flats, might see more interest.